This was a brutal loss for the Chicago Bulls. We're going to be talking about the key takeaways from tonight's loss against the Boston Celtics. This is your host, Rico Greenhowe, and you have found yourself on another episode of Bulls Digest. And so the Chicago Bulls lose to the Boston Celtics tonight, 123-98 at home. And the key takeaway is that the Chicago Bulls did not play very well at all. They didn't shoot the basketball very well. They also didn't play very good defense in the second half. And I think the Boston Celtics really remind us why they were NBA champions just a year ago. And so let's go ahead and jump into the box score and look at the key takeaways. And so let's start with Patrick Williams. And so I think that Patrick Williams was very active tonight. He had 14 points, 5 rebounds. He had 5 assists. He did have a steal, and he also was 2 of 4 from the three-point line as well. And so I think that Patrick Williams maybe is starting to turn the corner here from where he was at, just being injured. And then I think now he's finding a way to get back to where he was. He's back onto that rhythm. And so hopefully we get Patrick Williams to continue to build off of this performance. I think one of the things that was glaring here is that he did have 11 points at half, only finished with 14. And so next up with Vooch. And so Vooch, he has a double-double. He had 19 points. He had 10 rebounds in this one. He also had 2 assists, and he had a steal. But the glaring thing for Vooch tonight is he was 0 of 4 from the three-point line. He did not shoot the basketball very well. And he also, too, was a negative 17 in the plus-minus box score. And so next up with Zach LaVine. And so Zach LaVine, he has a pretty good stat line for the most part. 14 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. He had a steal. He was 4 of 5 from the three-point line, but he finished with a negative 12. And I think that in order for the Chicago Bulls to have beaten the Boston Celtics or even given themselves a chance tonight, we needed Zach LaVine to definitely hit the gas pedal out there. That never happened. And just like Patrick Williams, he had 11 at half and only finished with 14 tonight. And so that was tough for us. And then next up with Coby White. And so look, Coby White continues to struggle out there. I mean, he struggled on the defensive end. He struggled on the offensive end tonight. And at some point, Coby White has got to come out of this slump because he finished with 14 points. He had an assist. He had a steal. And he was negative 23 in the plus-minus box score. And the turnovers, I mean, he had 3 turnovers. And some of these turnovers were just, it was wild. I mean, he was just kind of driving into traffic looking for the foul. And he wasn't there. That turned out to be a turnover. And then defensively, there's one point in the third quarter where he gets matched up on Jayson Tatum and he's guarding him. And the next thing you know, he opens up his defensive stance and gives Jayson Tatum the lane. And that leads to Jalen Smith being dunked on. And that is what also too Stacey King said during the broadcast. So look, Coby White had a tough game on both ends of the floor, but it wasn't just him. I think collectively the Chicago Bulls just blew a lot of assignments defensively out there, and it led to a lot of open lanes, and we're going to talk about that here in the moment. Next up, the bench. And so the bench was not very good tonight for the Chicago Bulls, starting with Jalen Smith. He had 2 points. He did have 8 rebounds and an assist, but he was negative 16. Again, I just talked about how he gave up a tough dunk to Jayson Tatum there, but it was not happening for Jalen Smith tonight. Just really never got into a good rhythm. Dalen Terry, again, I think here's another player that just did not get into good rhythms out there. He didn't seem comfortable at all. It was his first game back after being out with the knee injury, and so he had 3 points. He had a rebound and an assist tonight. And with Modest Buzelis, look, it's an off night when Modest Buzelis is missing dunks. He missed a dunk out there, and he had 9 points. He finished with 2 assists, a block, and a rebound, and he was negative 13. But you almost never see Modest Buzelis miss dunks. And then with Julian Phillips, I think that Julian Phillips even though he had just 7 points tonight, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and he finished with a -4, the one thing that I did like about Julian Phillips is you can continue to see that he's working on his game. He was shot ready. He knocked down some good 3-point shots when this game was close. And so I like that about Julian Phillips, but he couldn't give us much else tonight. But I think that you could definitely tell that he is still growing, which is a great thing about this situation here that, he's developing. And I think that he could be a player that eventually turns into something for the Chicago Bulls if they continue to give him some minutes. Next up, THT. And so THT, he had 3 points, he had 3 rebounds, he had an assist and a steal, and he really didn't get the shot going tonight as well. He was 1 of 5 from the field, 1 of 2 from the 3-point line. And so THT, usually instant offense for this team, he couldn't get it going. And Zoe, he was active. I think defensively, he was out there doubling and trying to make it tough on the Celtics. And so he was very active defensively out there. He might have had maybe the best defensive game for the Chicago Bulls. But as far as the point totals, rebounds, and things like that, he had 2 points, 2 steals, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. He was -6 out there. And he only played 15 minutes tonight. But like I said, it was a tough night for the Chicago Bulls. And as we look into the box score, you can see clearly here of just really how tough it was for the Chicago Bulls. And let's start with just the rebounding totals, because the Celtics, look, 58-43. The Celtics took it to the Chicago Bulls as far as getting rebounds tonight. Then when you look at the turnovers were pretty even for the most part. 12-13, the Celtics lead in turnovers. And then fast break points tonight, the Bulls did a great job there, 21-15. So they led that. They were getting out on the break and things like that. But then the Celtics just crushed the Bulls in the paint, 60-38. And that goes into some of the things that I was talking about, defensive lapses where just players were getting to the lane and getting their shots and, just not rotating enough and just getting the ball out of like Porzingis' hand when he was in the post and things like that. So it was way too easy for the Celtics tonight inside. With the Bulls, they did go ahead and they were just down by 1 as far as the blocked shot totals were. So the Celtics 4-3 there, 8-8 as far as the steals. So that was a tie there. But then when you look at the field goal percentage for the Chicago Bulls, it was just terrible tonight. Look, 37.8% from the field. And then we shot 33.3% from 3 tonight. That was just terrible for the Bulls. So they shot terrible, missed assignments defensively. It just wasn't a good game for the Bulls. When you look at the Celtics from the field, 48.5% from the field. They didn't shoot the basketball very well from 3 either, 33.3%. But still, shooting at 48.5% from the field, and the fact that Jayson Tatum was just, he was fantastic for the Celtics tonight. 43 points. He had 16 rebounds and 10 assists, so a 43-point triple-double tonight. And so the Bulls didn't have an answer for him. There were times where he was just, stepping back and just hitting long three-pointers. I just talked about how he was just going by players. Talked about the example with Coby White and just getting dunks and things like that. And so everything was flowing for Jayson Tatum tonight. Jaylen Brown, he got it going as well. And so, look, this is a tough loss for the Chicago Bulls, no doubt about it. But you know that this is a team that can certainly compete a lot better than they did tonight. Obviously, they've got to shoot the basketball better, and then they've got to have a bit more of a better effort on the defensive end tonight. So anyway, let me know your thoughts about tonight's loss. Just want to thank everybody out there for liking, sharing, and subscribing to the content. It means a lot to us here at Bulls Digest as we try to reach our humble goal of 5,000 subscribers by the end of the NBA season. Want to let you know that about 66.3% of you that watch are not subscribed to the channel, so make sure that you go ahead and you mash that subscribe button, as it means a lot as we try to reach that subscriber goal. And look, even though the Chicago Bulls take a tough loss to the Boston Celtics, we knew that the Celtics were going to come back like champions after the Chicago Bulls went out there to Boston and beat them. You knew that they were going want to respond tonight. I thought that the Chicago Bulls had a chance to really keep this game close because we were close against them in the Cup game. We played them extremely tough and got the win in Boston. But, the Boston Celtics came out focused and they locked up the Bulls in the second half. And then the Bulls just did not do themselves any favors by not shooting very well. And then also, too, just blowing some defensive assignments out there. But it's part of learning as a team. And these are the type of losses that hopefully this team can build off of. And hopefully they can continue to just get to a better direction and get to some good winning basketball for some long stretches here. And so anyway, just want to thank everybody again. And as I always say, go Bulls, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.